Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. Brought to you by Strange Creative Studio. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, founder of Strange, Alex Pitt.
Hello everyone. Hello. If you are listening from the UK, fuck me, it's cold, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Full disclosure, I'm recording this from bed because, even though it's, 10 a.m? I went for a long walk this morning and it is sub-zero. Obviously, there are still some twats running around in shorts. But yeah, it is so cold. I've come back with pink legs, even though I was wearing some nice warm trousers. So if you are in the UK, stay warm. I hope everyone is coping. I know it's incredibly British of me to always talk about the weather, but fuck it. Just, authenticity, guys. Embrace it. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm going to be very honest with you right now. The start of this podcast is going to be quite mundane. It's going to be really boring. But there is reason for that. I promise I am going somewhere with this. As always, this is very serious business conversation. But yeah, the reason it's going to start out quite boring is because I want to talk to you about our purchasing habits today, all right? I want to talk about how you make people really want to buy from you without just talking about what it is that you're selling. I've gone through this before with you guys, especially in the episode How to Sell a Transformation. But a few things that have happened this past week have made me feel like I really need to explain this a little bit further. I need to hammer this home because it's so important. And I see so many people making mistakes on this that I just want to explain a little bit further how this can really help you as a tool for selling. So, starting out with my very, very mundane story. Now, I am in a group chat, I think I've mentioned before, with 8 of my oldest girlfriends. And we're all in our 30s now, right? This is 30. And we joke about how we used to talk about how absolutely battered we got the night before and some of the mischief that we got up to. Now, every couple of weeks, there is some kind of debate about appliances. Which is the best Hoover to buy? Has anyone got a dehumidifier? What about air fryers? What are we saying? It happens. If you are one of my listeners in their 20s, it will happen to you. Don't think you're immune from this shit. And it's actually quite good fun. I got a lot of appliances for Christmas and I spent a whole day playing with them like I would play with my toys when I was a kid. Got the epilator out. Boom. Lovely time. Anyway, we at the moment have had conversations about how to deal with damp. Told you it was going to be boring as fuck. I'm going somewhere with this. So we've got a bit of a problem with damp in the bedroom of our flat. And I have had to try and work out different ways of dealing with this. I've had my mop and my bucket. I've had my cloths out, my microfiber cloths, my marigolds. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing that I'm having to deal with. So yesterday I was doing a little bit of research into what products to buy. Right, what products are going to help me deal with this problem? And I'm looking at these little tubs that you get with some weird shit in there that absorbs water. I've already bought a dehumidifier. It does actually light up. It's quite cool. It lights up different colours. Not that it makes any difference to the damp in my room, but, it's like a little nightlight. It's quite fun. Anyway, I was trying to work out what was going to be the best product to buy, what was going to help me solve this problem. And the process that I went through to decide which product that I was going to buy, like I say, it was very mundane. It was very boring. And the things that were motivating me to buy were all very transactional. They're all very kind of tick boxy. So I'm thinking, which of these products has the best reviews? Do the reviews reflect exactly what I need it to do? Is this product fit for purpose? Is the price right? Is it going to last the amount of time that I need it to last? Etc, etc. So I'm going through a very checkbox system, right? I'm making decisions based on logic. Now, the reason that I lead with this is because that's not necessarily how I buy most other things. Unless the product is something that is going to serve a specific purpose like that, something very boring, something you can buy at Robert Dias, I am not using that kind of thinking to make a purchase. Now, there's a bit of science behind this, right? And I cover this in the Not Just a Pretty Logo program. The way that we buy, our buying habits are very much affected by emotion. We buy based on how we feel. It's that kind of gut feeling that we describe where you get a certain sense about something and you naturally gravitate towards it. Then the logic bit that I just described, where you're going through the tick box system, that comes later because you are using logic to justify a decision that you've already made. So for example, say that I am buying a new winter coat. Like I say, it's fucking freezing out. I'm looking at a winter coat that's just come up, advertised through a fantastic targeted ad on Instagram. It's fucking cool. It looks very me. And I look at it and think, I want the thing. I want it. Now, I've already made an emotional decision that I want this thing, right? After that, I'm going to do the little tick box thing, but I'm only going to use it to justify that decision I've already made. So I'm going to be like, well, it is cold out, and I think that this is a bit of a staple item, and it's on offer, and I haven't actually bought a coat in ages. You do all of this stuff to justify that decision that you've already made, okay? So making people feel something about your brand, about you, is really, really important. And it's a step that you should take before you go into describing the benefits of your product or your service. Before you start explaining why this thing is fantastic, you need to get that gut feeling in place. You need to make people feel something. Now, one of the things that prompted me to want to talk about this week is I do this really weird thing. Obviously, I do a lot of weird shit. But one thing that I've noticed that I do is after a night out, I'll go out, have a lovely few wines with my friends, and I'll want to head home. Now, I don't always come home and go straight to sleep. Sometimes I'll come home, put my headphones on, and dance around the living room to Depeche Mode. It's good fun, I recommend it. Blows off some steam, good exercise. Sometimes I come home and just want to watch really fucking random YouTube videos. And this is what I did the other night, and I cannot fucking tell you what it was that prompted me to do this. But I just decided that I wanted to watch old adverts, right? Adverts that I remembered from my youth. And one of the first ones that I put on was an old Guinness advert. Now, if you are over a certain age, you will remember this advert, right? So I'll describe it to you. It's a guy on a beach looking very, very serious. It's all black and white. It's all very arty. And there's this sort of like low hum of music. And you see that he's on this beach, he's going surfing, he looks very serious, he's in the moment, He goes running towards the water, and then these fucking huge waves come at him in the shape of horses, and then the music's all swelling, and it's a really big deal, and then he's suddenly like, air fist pumps the air, whatever you want to call it. It's all very dramatic. And at the end, they just have like this pint of Guinness. And you're thinking, what in the Christ fuck did all of that have to do with beer? Well, you might think that afterwards, but at the time, right, I can't remember how old I was when this advert came out, but I was young enough that I couldn't drink it. But I remember thinking, man, I'd love to drink Guinness. I can't wait until I'm old enough to drink Guinness, because that looks fucking cool, right? I did not know from that advert that it tastes like piss. Sorry if you love Guinness, but I can't stand the stuff. I tried, I really did. But that put that seed in my head that this is an amazing product. Like, this is something that if you drink it, you're going to be fist pumping, swimming in the ocean with giant foamy horses. Like, honestly, now I think back on it, what in the fuck was that all about? But it made me feel a certain way. It made me think that this product was arty, avant-garde, bloody cool. The advert made me feel a certain way about Guinness. Now, very, very much on the other end of the scale, I don't know if you also remember the advert for Ronseal, right? I know, I'm going so far the other way today. Now, Ronseal had this whole tagline of it does exactly what it says on the tin. All right, so you would buy something that would stain your fence. And it wouldn't have loads of fancy jargon or anything in there that would make you feel like you need to be a construction worker to understand it. It was very much, this is for the everyman. You can use this product, you in particular, right? Now, the man in the advert was probably one of the dullest people on earth, right? I don't want to go for a pint with that guy. But that's not the point. He was making me the hero of this story, right? He was making me the hero of this whole advert that I too can paint a fence. Me, Alex Pitt, who does not have a fence because I live in a flat, could do an absolutely stellar job of painting this fence because the feeling that I had was this is simplicity, this is clarity, this is ease. It doesn't matter that this man has all of the charisma of a boiled egg. Dull as hell. It's not about him. It's about me and how I feel about this product, about how this is going to benefit my life. Think about adverts for things like Haagen-Dazs, Galaxy, where you've got these women sat under a blanket going, this is fantastic. And you're thinking, wow, I would love to look as fit as that and be under a blanket on a Saturday night. Realistically, the way you're feeling is, God, I would love it if someone would just take the kids for a fucking hour so I can sit there with a cup of tea and some Galaxy. But that feeling that they're selling is indulgence, of luxury, of escapism, and of just having a bit of me time. Right, they're not talking about the flavour of it necessarily. They're definitely not talking about how many calories or the sugar count that's in there. They're talking about that feeling. They are selling you that feeling. Now, this goes further than products, right? This goes as far as service-based industries. And I can say this because we recently had to choose between two agencies to do some work for us, right? We were running a promotion. We had 2 calls, 2 different agencies who were doing the same thing. Now, one had insane case studies, amazing results in their arsenal, right? They could obviously do a really good job. But they were also very cold to talk to on this call. Now, I like to crack jokes, you may have noticed. I like to feel like I'm having a real conversation with someone, that we're on a level, right? That there is some kind of connection there. Now, the guy who was doing this presentation to us to explain how we could work together just read off a PowerPoint. He brushed off everything I said. It was like I was on some sort of automated call, like I was talking to a robot. It was just a bit bizarre, to be honest. And the facts and figures he were giving me was solid. And I could tell they probably do a good job. Just like the products that I was looking at to dehumidify my fucking flat. But there was no connection there. There was nothing that was making me feel, yeah, I want this thing. Now, the other agency that we went to, they were not dickheads. They were very personal. They were very genuine. They gave us a very realistic idea of what they could do for us. But more so, they asked a lot of questions to make sure that they would be able to cater for exactly what we needed. There really was that connection there, right? And I went away from call number 2 with a really good feeling. So no prizes for guessing who we went with in the end. Now, I mean it when I say that this is based in science, right? That gut feeling that you have about people, about things, about being drawn towards certain things like a magnet. That is our brains and the way that we have evolved. That we buy with emotion, we justify it with logic. So getting the emotion nailed first is really, really important because it just means that even if you have the most fantastic product in the world, shouting at people about the specs, about how it's made, about things that don't really resonate with people on an emotional level, it's just going to make things so much harder. As soon as you have that emotional connection, everything else falls into place. Now, making some people feel the wrong thing is okay, as long as they're not your target audience, right? I've definitely made people feel like I am a little bit too rough around the edges, that I swear too much. Some people think I'm unprofessional. Those people I do not want to work with. Those people are the ones I describe as the farts in suits. That's okay, because I form really genuine connections with the people that I do want to work with. I'm going to finish on a quote today, that you may have heard before. It's a really, really bloody good one. And it's from Maya Angelou. You said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That shit sticks. That was me, not her, by the way, in case you didn't work that out. Right, go off and make your audience feel something. And I will catch you here next time.
Got an idea for a maverick business of your own? Learn how to build a powerful brand that will get people obsessed with our online program, not just a pretty logo. You'll learn a simple step-by-step framework that will kickstart your killer brand and help you find your raving fan base. Find out more today at strangecreativestudio.com.